Peace and love and beautiful. Peace and love, beautiful beings. Hope y'all can hear me well. I'm kind of in a weird right now, so I'm hoping that the Wi-Fi stays connected. Um, y'all see my new nail color? Bang! They're finally starting to get long enough where I can paint my nails again. Anyway, I digress. I digress. Anyway, so y'all see the title of this message. Um, y'all see the title of this message. I don't know what just happened to the camera. What? Anyway, so you see the title of this message, God will provide. I'm just sitting here and I'm just thinking about how, like, part of the journey that I've been on, even since like 2022, 2023, going from being having somewhere to stay, even though I was staying with family, and then being unhoused when I was in Memphis, and then unhoused when I was in Houston, and then unhoused even still while I've been in Atlanta, Georgia. And it just makes you think about, I'm just sitting here thinking, and God gave me this message, and I wanted to share it with y'all because 111 on the clock. I wanted to share it with y'all because it has become such a common thing for people to think that disobeying or disregarding your assignment, uh, people think that disobeying or disregarding your assignment is natural, right? Because it's normal, right? Everything that's natural ain't normal, and everything that's normal ain't natural. What do I mean by that? Everything that is normal to you is something that you're used to seeing, it's something that's familiar, it's something you may even be comfortable with, it's something that you've possibly seen all or most of your life. So it's like a secondhand thing for you. The problem is, many people tend to confuse what's normal, what you're used to seeing, with what is natural, right? And so, what is natural is what is divine, it is what is sovereign, it is what is authentic and what is true. It'll be true from then all the way through to whenever, right? That's how the natural nature of life, of free flow, right? And divine consciousness works. It'll never not be true. It'll always be true, even if you don't see it being expressed in any aspects of your life or living. Okay. And so, but that was a complete side note. So, anyway, message that the Most High wants me to share is that God will provide, right? Your obedience, and this is a part of a word that the Most High gave me the other day, a part of your obedience is always connected to someone else's prosperity, to someone else's peace, to someone else's uh, to someone else's evolution. So, and what was the example that I had used? If you are a person and you feel led, I don't know, to share your story. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So if you're a person and you say when you grew up, when you were younger, and you decide to share your story about how you were abused as a child, right? And someone who's living in a random apartment 327 somewhere comes across your video on YouTube or comes across your video on Facebook or TikTok or wherever you decided to share it at, and that person comes across your video and they see that you were abused and they see the signs of the things that were happening, and then they realize those same signs or things that they've been hearing that have been going on next door, right? And so they're now realizing that God placed them in apartment 327 to be a rescue for that child that is presently being abused. And so now, because that person heard your video, they're now able to step in and say, hey, I'm going to go help this child, not have to go through 10, 20, however many years of physical, emotional, psychological abuse by this parent, by this guardian, or by whoever this person is, simply because you chose to speak up about a truth that you had went through when you were young, right? Because you chose to speak on it, somebody else was able to connect some dots. So your obedience is oftentimes connected to somebody else's rescue, somebody else being set free, somebody else being able to evolve, somebody else being able to experience life on a more fuller, deeper, more wide level, right? And so what tends to happen is a lot of people, if something doesn't directly impact them or affect them or bring extra money in their bank account, or if it don't give them a bigger house or a nicer car, or all the different tangible things we think about, we tend to think that it's not worth our time, right? We say, okay, well, what am I going to get out of it? To speaking truth should be the gift. Being able to speak truth, whether it's your truth or truth for someone else, but speaking truth should be the gift. Speaking truth, embodying truth, living in love, that should be the gift. You shouldn't expect anything outside of that, right? But I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I'm like, and God is just, because I mean, obviously, I know God provides, even though I am unhoused or in a situation where I'm presently unhoused. Like, I don't go without, right? Like, I sincerely do not. I can't explain it. It's just I'm physically unhoused. Like, there are certain things that, of course, I would like to be able to do. You know what I mean? But like, when we're talking about the things that I truly need, I don't go without. I'm heavily protected. I'm fully at peace. I'm authentically loved. Like, I am fully supported by the people who are aware of me and of me being here. Um, but so I'm sitting here and God is just like, I will provide, right? And so we have to recognize how our obedience is connected to how God is maybe using us to be provision for somebody else. We have to recognize how God is oftentimes using us to be provisions for someone else, to provide, to be some type of stability or security or support for someone else, some type of safety, protection for someone else. A lot of the times we think, oh, well, if it's not directly going to bring anything forth for me, then I'm not going to participate in it. And the whole time, God was planning on reaping to you and for you an abundance of things had you simply chose to be obedient, because obedience is the right thing, not because of what was going to come from it for you, right? God will provide. God will provide everything, the peace that you seek, the money that you desire to be in your bank account, the bigger house, the cars, the whatever it is. Like, if it's something that you truly desire and you continue to be obedient, God will forever provide it, right? We are presently in a shift in the world where things, the old world, the false world, the world that empowered people because of their statures or because of whatever, has fallen. The veil has lifted. Not even the veil has lifted, the veil has dissolved itself. But God will provide. The other part of the message I wanted to share is that I like the part that led me to the message that God gave me is that I'm sitting here thinking, and I was just like, there are so many people that dropped the ball concerning me. There are so many people that dropped the ball concerning me. People that God put into place. So before I got here, before I accepted this soul mission and purpose, God has strategically placed people in certain positions of power, status, structure, right? Before I got here. So that once I got to a certain stage of my life, I would have the support that I need. I'm talking about from the teachers in the school system, from the parents and the guardians that I was supposed to have on the home front, from the people in the church system, from random strangers and neighbors and all of this, right? There's so many people who dropped the ball concerning me, right? And I remember last year, 2025, having a conversation with one of those people who was supposed to be my protector, right? And I remember addressing them specifically. And of course, I let them know, like, you dropped the ball. I was just like, I don't want you to feel bad about it. I just want you to know that that's something you need to hold yourself accountable to. And I want you to know that I know. Like, I want you to know that I'm aware of the fact that you were supposed to have done certain things that you didn't do. I'm not mad at you. I don't hold any hatred or anything towards you. I just want you to know that that's something you were supposed to have done. And I know that deep down you know that it was something you were supposed to have done. And I'm making sure that you're aware of it so you can hold yourself accountable so that moving forward in the future, if you ever receive another assignment, that you don't drop the ball. His response to me was, he said, I made it difficult to love me as a child. He said, I made it difficult. And I was just like, wow, you completely refuse to take any accountability. And he fully put it off onto me and said it was my fault that he couldn't complete or fulfill his assignment. Me, a child, 7, 8, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12 year olds, a child who was being abused, who was being mistreated, who was being taken advantage of. You said, I made it too hard for you to fulfill your mission. Baby, you agreed to that shit before you got here. But people have missions. 11:11 on the clock. People have missions, assignments that they are supposed to fulfill, that they're supposed to complete. And whenever they choose to not complete those assignments, whenever they choose to not complete those missions, whenever they choose to not complete those things, it has an impact on the individual, obviously, and the collective. Nonetheless, and I surely say, God still provides. God will provide. God will provide through and through. My goodness. But yeah, so I was just sitting here and I was just thinking about that. Like, God will provide. So many people dropped the ball on me when it came to whatever God strategically put them in place to do with, for, or around me. And I also want to acknowledge that there are so many people who didn't drop the ball, so many people who showed up. When I tell you, I have teachers to this day that I love to pieces. I haven't probably talked to them in years, but the impact that they had on my life, people at the church that I grew up in, people, random strangers who I never probably even knew their name, right? There's so many people who didn't drop the ball, but there's also people who just intentionally, actively chose to keep dropping the ball over and over and over again. Nonetheless, though, God will provide. God still provides. God continues to provide no matter what. No matter what. Because even though people choose to not follow through on the assignment that they were strategically 13:13 on the clock, even though people decide to drop the ball, the Most High will forever make sure that you are good. Even if the Most High has to step in and do it self. You get what I'm saying? If the Most High has to do it themselves, they will. You understand me? But yeah, that's the message. This is just be encouraged. God will provide. God always provides. God still provides. No matter how many people may try to convince you that you're unworthy or undeserving, no matter how many people tell you no matter how many people turn their back on you, no matter how many people spite you in the face, you know what I mean? Like smite you in the face, no matter how many people try to disrespect, disregard, devalue, deconstruct, dismantle, right? Devalue who and what you are, baby. No matter the matter. Ain't that what they say? No matter the matter, baby. Most High will still make sure that everything you are wanting for and needing for will be met exceedingly. That's the message, beautiful beings. And it literally just turned 4:44 on the clock as I say that. If you have not already heard it today, baby, you are beautiful. You are amazing. I love you. Until next time, thanks for watching. Oh, and make sure you tag a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend to tag a friend. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. or engage however you feel led to. Until next time, my beauties, deuces. I want it so bad to be